The babysitter, Andrew Coburn. In the dead of night, a child is crying, and for her parents, the nightmare has just begun. Paula Ahern, the Wright's lovely and trusted babysitter, is dead. Upstairs, a child's darkened bedroom is empty. No ransom note, no clues. And the babysitter is the biggest mystery of all. Now, in defiance of the police and the FBI, the child's frantic parents start their own desperate, dangerous search through derelict factory towns and Boston's seamy North End. I have no idea. Only after death has struck again and again will they learn the fate of their baby and the terrifying, cruel truth about the babysitter. Um, so The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, 1979. This is published in 1981. This is largely a procedural, but the machismo upon machismo, filled with the odd salacious, very questionable fixation on college girls, uh, led this to sort of being a mixed bag, really. On the one hand, the Wrights are a sort of lower middle class family, not as much money as you think they should have um, in their professional careers. So there's emphasis of blue collar life is encroaching on them. They thought they would have gotten away from, but damn AI. Um, Most of this book is kind of lopsided because, on the one hand, you are following the Wrights and their attempt to find their daughter, particularly Mr. Wright, who seems to fulfill that weird notion of men who think that having never been in fights in their lives or never really been part of urban life can just walk in there with just sheer strength of character and people will respect them. And because it's being written by a writer, they weirdly do. Um, I think he would have just been slapped the minute he went into Filoni's. Uh, the level of stories here is man, man, oh man, man. First you have Mr. Right, then you have the chief who mows their lawn and seems besotted with the ideal that they could live that somehow he can't. The acrimony between the chief and Agent Spencer of the FBI. You also have the sort of slight, we don't use the word mafia, but it's the mafia. Filoni, who turns out that what happened is that when Paula left her parents, they sort of erstats adopted her, much like not Jean Paul Belmondo, Jean Russo in Jean Russo? Leon. It's just gone Leon. That's the easiest way to play it. You also have Oliver, who seems to wander around. This was actually one of the parts that I wanted to quote to give you the idea, the soupçon of the violence in it. So Oliver has been being followed around because he's a dirty bastard. He's a dirty bastard who works with Wright at the college and is obviously over friendly with the girls. The chief made a fist. This is the chief who, for some reason, has gone all like overprotective. Chucky gets lucky with him, with the family. The chief made a fist and struck Oliver in the forehead. The sound like a mallet hitting a wooden block. The blow forceful enough to knock Oliver down. On your feet, the chief said, growing hysterical. He lay there, but he could not move. The chief unholstered his weapon, the magnum, that's pronounced that way, which was clumsily in his hand. He almost dropped it. You suckered the FBI. You're not going to succor me. Placed an enormous barrel of the magnum at Oliver's forehead, which was rapidly swelling, his skin torn and tattered. The truth, give it to me. Oliver fainted. The chief gagged and straightened fast, for Oliver's bowels had let loose. I like that as an almost skunk sort of defense mechanism. Quickly and quietly, he left the garage, not absolutely certain Oliver was alive. Meanwhile, we also have the man. Now, there are, as I said, the sort of sophomoric fixation with women and expansive breasts that could probably be best described with the man who we later find out, I believe, could have been Paula's husband, but it gets very choppy towards the end. All the waitresses were adolescent, and he could not stop looking at them, his gaze ranging from one young bottom to another. soft, edible bodies and identical dainty skirts so short his stomach constricted. His waitress was whispering to another, and he imagined their whispers were about him. Their whispers being Charlie Bond is banned from the comments. This sort of salacious fixation does permeate a lot of this, while at the same time, it's really only in the last 50 pages you find out that this man is probably the father of Paula. But then again, there was a foster mom. But then again, and this is really in the last 30 pages, well, you've got all this Oliver, few other red herrings until it's like, it was Paula's real mom all along who killed her, hammered her, and stole the baby. In the midst of this, the chief has a heart attack just outside. Again, maybe the only link we really have for that causally is eating too much ice cream at Filoni's while interrogating them for the stop and start of it is just too much towards the end. For 200 pages, it's just unevenly paced. You do have a lot of man chat. I'm just going to pull this at random. Barbara Oliver said, I don't like the place. I called the first one in the book. I don't know what else to do. I think you did well, Miles said, as John Wright stepped closer to them. It's all just it's the man goes and says the thing, and then he gets righteous about it. But then there's another man who says this about them. Paula was such a lovely girl. There's a waiter who turns up like Alfred and goes, I think you've made a bad mistake. It's kind of like Green Goblin too. Um, it has that rustic charm to it. It has a machismo that appeals to me. I'll admit that. But it's just too copycat, and it's ultimately the pacing itself leaves it off. I think it's one pretty much that has consigned itself to the remainder bin and not one to follow again. But hey, if you do like that sort of sub psycho lollygoth pistol whipping genre, then if that sounds like it'll float your boat, then Andrew Coburn, The Babysitter. I myself think you're probably better off watching Raising Cain, Jacob's Ladder, or The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. The movies, and you'll be over them in an hour and a half. But then again, it hasn't even taken me 8 minutes to go, oh, and they wiped the right. It is fun to realize that these books come at a setting of a different time when you go, oh my God, right, someone wrote his phone number there. Someone might see it. No one takes fucking photos of anything. So, yep, that was my review of The Babysitter. Ill-paced, quite salacious, some violence, but choppy WTF for an ending, as it was evil mum, actually the evil twin double dimension. Aha, we were really clever. You weren't. You just weren't. I don't know why I had a heart attack. I think I was just having difficulty following it from the minute the policeman feels the best way to win over the trust of people who've just lost their child is mow their lawn. Like and subscribe.